Okay, hello all those who are jumping in watching. This is episode 104, and tonight we have Tuhon Arlene, and a lot to talk about. And we're going to go over her journey, her teaching, her book, FMA Women Group, the Exchange. So a lot of great stuff. So, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you,
Yeah,
Rudy.
no,
How are
good.
you?
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, mentioned the goal is definitely to get more, women practitioners on here, regardless of rank, title, whatever. What I mean, as long as they're doing something in the community and they're contributing, I think it's definitely worthy of hearing from them. So and hopefully more will be, more comfort level, and they'll more will, want to come on. That's the goal. So, but. So so what's going Maryland, you're from Maryland, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's each state's kind of different. I'm just curious, as far as like if I have to go to that state for some reason. What's the COVID situation there?
Here where I'm at, it's a little tricky because we are the DMV area, the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. So it's really hard to control things because we have workers from DC and Virginia passing through Maryland and vice
Mm,
versa. But right now, we're still on phase 1B for vaccinations. They're they're doing well with the vaccinations. The problem is they're running out of stock. So we
yeah,
have the money, but we just need the actual medication.
right. No, I've been reading that how they're definitely low on supply as far as demand. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
But they've already deployed the National Guard as well to help out with disseminating the vaccine. So they're well organized, it seems like. But same thing. There are still things that are shut down.
mm,
Restaurants are open. Sometimes it's curbside delivery. Sometimes you can go in, but like I said, they've done well so far with what I've seen. They've done well with making sure that they do the proper protocols. They follow the protocols for COVID.
yeah. I just can't believe we're going on. We're almost coming up on a year of this. Just
Yeah,
there really no end in sight. I mean, just
I'm losing track of time actually.
yeah, and I'm just like, God heavens. I mean, I remember when this first came out. Like I remember the 2 week like being thrown out. Yeah, we're gonna shut down for 2 weeks, and here we are, almost a year later. It's just me. All right, we guess if you're watching, please hit the like button. Tell us where you're watching from, and thank you for coming out and supporting, Tuan Arlene. We got Julius, my man, Kavan, Abenir, brother, Brian Rodriguez, hey, and Paulo. Is this the main event or the appetizer? This is the main event. So, Paulo, you were at the right place at the right time. So all right, let's jump into it. I did a little, background on your website, which I thought was really well done. Incidentally, I thought, it looked really great. The way you got it mapped out and all that. I thought that was well done. Whoever did that for you. Um,
Thank you. I did it all. It's
did you really? Oh, fantastic. No, I thought it was well done. Well, yeah. Wow.
thank
Good on
you.
you. Yeah, that's fantastic. So let's jump into it. What's your, what got you started in FMA? What was your first experience? When, where, and with whom?
So my first experience was back when I was 9 years old. Hang on, if there's just
Wow.
a feedback. Hang on. I was 9 when I started FMA back in the Philippines. So when people are saying people don't know about Arnis, Eskrima, or Kali, my world is different. In my world, I know about it when I was young. I have an aunt who also teaches that in their school back in the day, and she would actually borrow my sticks to teach her PE classes. So again, I'm familiar with it, but I'm not in a family of masters. That's the only thing.
So
Um,
wow. At 9, who introduced you to it?
So actually, I feel like I'm an adopted child and I'm looking for my parents. So if through FMA discussion somebody will give me an answer, it was through Development Bank of the Philippines back in 1990. And I just remember people wearing red pants, and we had red pants and white t-shirt. And the females or the girls are separated from the boys. The boys will be training sticks and the short stick, and then the girls will be training double sticks and single stick. That's what I
Hmm.
remember.
Wow, at
So
nine
yeah,
though. I mean, that's pretty incredible. And all right. So from there, now, when did you actually come to the States?
I went to the States. I was already old. I was 27 when I went here.
Oh,
So
when
I'm
you okay,
more
okay.
adult when
No,
I
no, 27. That's so. So from now, all right. So before you came here at 27 years old, from when you started at nine, was that a continuous run through nine through up present day, as far as you training?
No, the only continuous thing is that I loved it, and so I sleep with a stick. I remember before that I would always take it to me to bed, not a doll, but just a stick. And then and it's funny because until now my mom brought me the old sticks that I had back in the 90s, and it's here right now in our home. So
Oh,
I'm
fantastic.
glad that I found it, but it wasn't continuous. I had to stop, go to school, and things like that. I played the violin, so I studied the violin after my martial arts. But then, after about 9, 10 years, I went to the University of the Philippines, and I did Arnis there as well. And I believe it's Lightning Scientific or Lescas when I went there. So there's an instructor there who teaches. Again, it's not I saw a grandmaster and I met them. It's not like
No,
that.
no,
It's
no. I think you're right on that because if I recall correctly in an interview, I remember that system being mentioned, being taught at a university. So I think you're right in far as that being the system. I do definitely recall that being mentioned and all that. So, all right, well, all right, so you're in college, you're taking that. And so I'm guessing you just did it just through college, or did you continue with like?
yes, through college, I did that. I'm the only woman in the class. My choices were archery or folk dancing, and I told my mom, no, it's definitely gonna be stick fighting, not folk dancing. Because I've done folk dancing already. It's you want something new. But for archery back in the day, if you will study archery, you need your own gear. And so to me, I'm kind of traditional and very economical. So to me, I didn't want to ask too much from my parents. I was a scholar at the university, so the best thing would be the least, expensive choice would be our niece, because, and also I already know it, so I already had my stick, so I'm all set.
No, no, no. I mean, no. That's very, even back then having that insight as far as expenses and all that. So you mean you didn't want to do folk dancing? I mean, come on. I'm just
I've
kidding.
done it so much. I've done that. I've danced ballroom, just in class, not professionally or anything like that.
I'm just
Because
kidding.
here in the States, the children have programs. They enroll in schools. The way that it worked back then for me was, somebody would teach us, or it's just a part of the curriculum. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
really
So
easy.
I've heard good things about that system. I tell you, it's something. I got so much on my plate right now, but it's one of those things, systems that has definitely intrigued me to check out. What'd you think of it? You're in college, so you're what, your early 20s? I mean, and
Yeah, I was 16 when I went to college. So yeah,
16?
I liked it. It was I already have love for Arnie's since I was 9. So it wasn't really hard at all. And it's funny because even in 6th grade, I remember carrying a stick at school when I was a new student. And I was from an all-girls school. It was an exclusive girls school. So I moved to a co-ed school. I didn't know how to behave in front of boys. I was from an all-girls family too. I have two other sisters. And so boys do certain things that I didn't understand back then. So then I decided the next day, because somebody put their arms around me during recess. I didn't understand what that was. So then the next day I brought my stick so that no one would mess with me. But but
So you were preparing for the unknown.
I was.
I mean, regardless of what that unknown was going to be. But this is interesting. I didn't know this because I was surprised when you referenced 16 going to college, and it makes sense now because Julius is saying that start college early and there's no middle school. How
Yeah,
interesting. Wow.
we're not. Yeah, I wasn't a genius. Although I did get a scholarship at Michigan State University from the University of the Philippines and Michigan State. But I did look like a genius back then because they said that I looked like an eighth grader, and I was already in sophomore year. So now I don't get that anymore because I'm really old. But back in the day, it was pretty because they thought I was smart.
No, I had no idea. I tell you, you learn something new. Wow, that's how interesting. Man, you get an early start to like what you want to do, and that's fascinating. But all right, so after college, what was the? Did you? Because I know you referenced not moving here until 27 years old. So I guess after college to moving here, was there another system that came into play, or?
Not in FMA. I started doing Tai Chi. So I was doing Yang style Tai Chi. I've done 24 forms. Usually, the way that it is, it's the same thing in FMA with Tai Chi, where it's hard to find instructors. So I actually established Philippine Tai Chi Network in the Philippines because I wanted people to find resources. So I did that for a little bit. So I did some Google blogging. There were parties in Google back in the day that I would go to so that I can learn more about search engine optimization and all that. But I got some friends who did it, so I got into blogging. And then that's how I got into Tai Chi. And then after that, when I went here, that's when I started finding for another FMA or Arnis class. And I found one that's near my community. It was 15 minutes to 20 minutes from my home. So it worked well for me.
Okay. And that's when you moved. I'm sorry, that's when you moved here?
Yes, when I moved here, I was still doing Tai Chi, but I wanted something. I did not find the Tai Chi class that I wanted and the kind of Tai Chi instructor that I wanted. So I Googled Arnis, and then something popped up and I enrolled there to that school.
So so now where'd you first move? Did you move to Maryland, or was there another
Yes,
state?
my family is from Maryland. I mean, they immigrated in here, but they really are from Maryland. So
okay. So who did you find in your Google search? Who was it?
it was Bobby Ladra.
I'm sorry, Bobby
Ladra, Apollo Ladra, the
Oh,
brother.
okay. Yes. Matter of fact, somebody referenced for me to get him on. Definitely know the name. Okay. All right. So that's obviously starting your PTK journey. Okay. So that was just what year thereabouts? Was it like what year?
That one is 2000, the end of 2010. So usually I don't count it whenever I'm counting my years in PTK. This will be my 10th year in PTK, 2021. So.
Oh, so okay, you started. Okay, so you started with. Is he a Tuhon? Is it Tuhon?
He's a Tuhon now. When I met him, he was guru, and I stayed with him. I think about 8 months until I met GT at a seminar after 8 months.
So you started out with Tuhon Bobby. I'm assuming GT came out for a seminar somewhat locally, and then so did you continue with Tuhon, or at that time Guru Bobby, or did you kind of just direct your focus with GT?
No, Bobby left and went to Florida because they had a big project there. They were forming the Filipino Kali Academy, which now is iCali, I believe, if I'm understanding.
Okay, so he's in Florida now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we moved to Florida, we ended up having no instructors. So Yes, and I was assigned to be the lead for their study group in here. But because I just started 8 months, some people did not like the idea of me leading a group when I don't know anything, right? So, there was a little bit of a disappointment there from the students. So I still continued every now and then. Whenever they're here, I would train with them, but I
Mhm.
needed something more stable at that time because I really wanted to learn. So I
Yeah.
cannot go with, not consistent schedule. So then I talked to GT when I met him, and I told him that I'm looking for an instructor who is in our area. So I'm asking for some recommendations. I found a school in Maryland too, but it's not PTK. It was with Doug Marcaida's group because they have a good group here as well.
Oh, I didn't
But
know that. Okay. Okay. Doug Mackay is good. Okay. All right. And he's
GT told me, no, I'm gonna teach you, and this is gonna be our plan. So then I said, oh,
oh.
actually, you know what? That's actually convenient because it's more convenient for me because I already met him, I already know him, and I really like PTK. So I like the idea. I liked his proposal on what kind of system we're gonna do to make it work.
Mm.
So then I became his personal student after that.
Wow. And now was he at that time? Do that because I know way back in the day it was New York, then he moved to Dallas, and they went back. So around this time, circa 2010, 2011, was he here in the States or was he back in the Philippines?
He was going back and forth. So
Back in, he was going back. Okay.
during the summer he is in the States, and then usually by fall he would leave around, yeah, by fall he would leave. So what the good thing that happened, and I got lucky, was that not only did I become a private student of GT, I became his driver actually. So um, what happened is he stays with me, and because I'm off for about 2 months, 2 to 3 months per year from my work, I'm available whenever he's here. So he lives in my home, and we train for the time that he
Oh, wow, that works out well. Okay, well, that worked out
very
well.
constant training, and that's why I really like the
No,
idea of
yeah,
it.
no, absolutely. I mean, you got him right in your house. I mean, geez.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just so what obviously you were exposed to some systems, prior to PTK and all that. Well, what made you want to just isolate that system and just choose that? I mean, what stood out for you? You know?
It wasn't really something that I intended to do. It was available for me.
Mhm.
And then I think somehow knowing Filipino system, knowing Filipino behavior, it's just, this is rare. And also, even my experience in the Chinese martial arts, it's very rare for a grandmaster to tell you, I'll take you in. It's very
Hmm.
rare. So
It
in my
doesn't happen to me.
yeah, so whenever I got a hold of that, because even with Kuya Bobby, I was so loyal. Like I would ask him for extra training back in the day, and he was very nice to actually give me whatever I need with Kuya Bobby. It just was unfortunate that he had to leave,
You're
and
right.
I understood it was for a bigger project. I mean, I
Mm,
wouldn't want him to say no to something like that too.
right.
So to me, that's the only reason why I really stuck with PTK. Initially, I actually thought it was an Indonesian art just because of the way it sounded. I did not know about Pikiri Kirsha.
Oh,
Um,
when you were back, you didn't know about it. Oh, okay.
no. I know about Arnis in
Right.
general because I did not know that there were systems. The
Got
only reason why I know that the one that we did was Modern Arnis and Lighting Scientific was because I asked around because I'm starting to realize that there are systems. So then I asked some of my friends, hey, well, what were we doing in college? Can you tell
Yeah.
me what
Okay.
system that was? And that's the only reason why I am able to verbalize now that it was Lescas and the other one was Modern Arnis.
Okay. Okay. Wow. So I mean, so it sounds like every year you were seeing him. And during that year there was a period of time when he was staying at your place. Is that
Yes.
accurate? Okay.
So, and the additional part there is, so I'm the driver, right? So if he has a seminar anywhere in, say, New York, Virginia, I've driven all the way to Ohio. We flew all the way to California. I've flown with him to Canada, Mexico. So with all these things, just the exposure of just having him around, seeing him when he wakes up, when he doesn't sleep, just seeing his patterns. It kind of accelerated the osmotic process of learning, because we had the connection. So it was so easy at that point because we had a good relationship. So yes, it really helped me all along. And then I met other people too, a lot of good people in PTK, and even outside of PTK, his friends are all great. They're very supportive and friendly. And then they know some stuff. And so whenever I go around with GT, of course I'm the small mouse, you know what I mean? So they would look at me like I'm their little sister. So the men actually tend to share a lot of good information with me because they know, they feel my presence and they just want to share. They just want to share.
No, that's neat. No, that they're looking out. No, I think that's nice. Yeah. Just for those who maybe don't know, what can you tell us about GT's teachings? Like, whereas I just had Tuhon Jared on, and it sounds like, from his perspective, that depending on who's in front of him, he kind of tailors for as individually, speaking, which I think is great. I mean, not one size fits all, obviously. Did he kind of sort of take that approach with you, or like, was it like different from Bobby, or I mean, I'm sure there was some parallel obviously in the curriculum, but did he kind of modify anything for you, or or anything like of the sort?
So there is a way, in my opinion, there's a way that he does things where, of course, there's an umbrella, right? He knows exactly what the things that he needs to do foundationally. The next thing, but what I do realize is that when I travel around with him, he does slightly change it based on, sometimes he makes individual assessments and then also group assessments. So if you are, as a group, performing poorly, he would put the skills down a few notches. Is my English correct? And
Okay.
then start from there again, give you more basics, give you more reps. Sometimes people would see it as a punishment, but I can kind of understand why he needed to go a few steps back. And then after he gets whatever he wanted, then he goes straight to the point of what the seminar is about. I think he's a brilliant teacher, honestly. I'm a teacher by profession and I do Montessori training. So I think he has a way of doing things. I don't think he's aware of it, but when you look at the Montessori method, it's actually almost the same thing. He just needs a few more tweaks in his techniques in terms of teaching. But I think for me, it's already impressive, the fact that he did not do or study a particular teaching methodology. And I think it's just innate that he knows how to teach the system in a very exciting way, very, very interesting way. I agree with you, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, and plus, just by the mere fact of his age, I mean, look how long he's been teaching this system for. You know what I mean? So obviously, with all that years under his belt, it's going to be easy for him to kind of calibrate, change it up for the individuals in front of him. Maybe based on size, attributes, or length, and whatever comes into play. Just by the mere fact, again, of how long he's been doing this. So yeah, I mean, he's. I met him some 20 years ago. I mean, obviously a very interesting guy, charismatic, and all that. But so, as far as that, like, how about, aside, from the teaching and all that, obviously you must have a wonderful personal relationship with him. I mean, he stays at your house and what have you and all that. I mean, what can you share with us on that?
I think GT has unique personal relationships with everybody that he's teaching. So I really don't think it's exclusive to me. Although I'm just grateful that at least I get to be a part of that and get to see the many sides of him, not just two sides. He has many sides. And yeah, my relationship with him, it really started with first we're kind of like at a distance. I'm at a distance. I'm an observer. I don't go out there and introduce myself. I'm just not that kind of person. I'm naturally shy, and thankfully, because of my husband Malcolm, I'm able to start, speaking up and, being a little bit extroverted. But I was just observing him from a distance for during that time that I met him one summer. And I think I got his attention by when the students go to a seminar and you do individual striking back and forth in space. I think I got his attention there because I was doing my strikes. And of course, being a woman,
Yeah,
people know GT Gahe. You
yeah.
know, he has his Nikitas and all that. So it's very easy to be seen as a woman in a space full of men.
Yeah, right. I mean,
So
yeah, I
especially
mean, you're
if
gonna
they're
stand out.
Filipina and they're all Americans, it's so obvious that I'm different because I'm Filipina. So anyway, when I did meet him afterwards, when he was teaching me, my first experience of him was, okay, do the strikes, right? Of course, the famous 1,000 strikes. But I think for me, because I come from a strict family background, discipline is quite important for us. So when he asked me to do the striking, he would go inside the air conditioned room, take his coffee, make some calls. And if he left me doing English 1 and 2, I would still do 1 and 2 and not stop. But that's just the kind of person I am.
Yeah. Work ethic.
Tell
Yeah,
me.
yeah. No, you have good work ethic. Yeah.
Yes, I think from there we gained, respect from that little instance.
Yeah. It's like he didn't turn around and see you like with your stick down and all that. So he probably once in a while he probably peeked and saw you were still doing it. And yeah, I mean it was probably like a little test. I'm guessing maybe in the beginning or whatever.
Maybe mental game,
Yeah.
So, and I enjoyed it anyway. I knew I needed to practice on my power and striking. Plus, the tire striking is not too different from me. Even at the university, we would hit tires and, do practice our range by trying to reach the wall. So if you can see it's a pelota court. I don't know if you know what that is, but there's the wall for that pelota court because it's no longer used for squash. Oops, sorry. It's no longer used for squash. So what's happening is we would hit the tires of the wall, and you will see scratches on the wall. So that's a very distinct memory I have whenever I was training Kali back then. So
Yeah.
anyway, I know I'm long-winded. I'm sorry, but my
No.
then from driving him around, if I drive him, it's like 4 hours to 10-hour drives, and it's just him and me. So that's a long number of hours to be talking to each other, making jokes, singing.
Yeah. No, I mean, right. I mean, obviously you've got to know him, on a personal level. I mean, yeah, which is which I think is nice. I mean, a lot, I think it's really nice that you have that type of relationship with your instructor and all that. In my opinion, anyhow. So, all right. So that's so you and again. So you were also going through the ranks. I'm guessing your first rank guru at some point with him.
No, my first rank was a made-up rank. It was a Yakan Guru, and there's
Yakan?
no Yakan Guru ever in the system.
Really? Did he explain why? Was there a rationale behind that?
No, he did not explain why. And at the same time, I don't dare to ask because to me, I'm really focused on my own goals and my journey. Whatever's happening outside of it, I don't try to involve myself too much, if that makes sense. So if he tells me, oh, I'm going to promote you to this, all right, well, if that's what he thinks is the right thing to do, then I'll say, okay. But then at the same time, deep inside, I know that, okay, these are the things that I need to do.
Okay, so and how many years was in that when he gave you that rank?
That made-up rank was within 1 year. So Yakan is you're a beginner student.
Okay.
Guru, obviously, because I think back in the day, I had a few people asking me, hey, can we train? So with me, naturally, Filipino style would be, you need to ask your elders before you do something. You're not really, I guess, here in the Western world, it's like, oh, you're asking for permission. I guess yes, but at the same time, it's good to know, or it's good to let your elders know what you're doing, especially when you're not ready for, the real world, right? So what I do, I tell him everything that I do. I usually would tell him, and I think that's the reason why he decided, okay, I'm gonna make you Yakan guru, because probably he thought, and this is just my assumption, probably he thought it will be easier for other people to understand that that he has allowed me to do certain things within limits. I think that was his purpose, but I'm not sure.
Sure. No, it could have been. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna pause here because we're gonna step into your next rank and all that. But I just want to give a quick, and then I have to get to Paulo's question, which is gonna tie into my next question. All right, we got Chad. Hey, Chad. Hey, Guru Jay. Guru Tom. We got
Hi.
yeah, we got Guru Kali Doug. Let me just see if I'm missing anybody. Juliana, okay. Vaughn Cavan. Hey, James from Connecticut. Maestro Alvin. All right. Hey, Paul. Tuan Jack. Hey, John Kuspis. I'm up, brother. And Michael. Got Eric. Wow. All right. All right. Yeah, folks, if you're just jumping in, please tell us where you're watching from and hit that like button. And thank you for watching. All right. And Mia. Okay. So let's and we got Mia. All right. Okay. So your next rank, you got it's saying well, you're Tuhon. So when did that come about?
My being Tuhon.
Correct.
I don't know where all that came from. I remember though when he gave it to me, when he told me about it. I'm sorry, when he told me about it, I was in Texas, and I just got the top of my class for a training, and I was telling him about it, about my experience. So I was shopping at that point. Malcolm was with me, and he told me, "You will receive a promotion, and I will present it at the convention." And he knows I really don't go to the conventions because I'm unable to do it. So he told me that he will present it there and then he'll bring it home to me. But it's funny because with the plaque, the way that GT does it, at least with me, I'm not sure with the others, he would hide it in one corner when he comes from the Philippines. And while he's here, he's unpacking his stuff, right? He would hide it in the corner like it's a Christmas gift, and he will make sure that I don't see it until the day of the seminar.
Oh,
So
okay. That's nice.
I kind of put it together once I received
Yeah.
it. It's like, oh, so that's what he was hiding.
Yeah, he doesn't want to blow surprise. I mean, he's putting thought into it. I think that's nice. Yeah. Oh, we got hey, June from Florida. And Mila, all right. And from Orlando, okay. I think she's got an event coming up, if I'm not mistaken. But all right, so all right, so I'm gonna kind of so you must have been so when you did receive that, was that in the last year or so ago? I mean, it was recent, am I
I
correct?
believe it's 2018.
2018 when you okay. All right, a few years ago. So and Paul, oh my God, man, we got a big crowd here today. But so I'm gonna because Paulo's got a question in regards to this, so I'm gonna just bounce back up there. Just bear with me so I can find it. Okay. All right. So here's and it's regarding your Tuhon rank, and his question is, can you talk to us about some of the insecurities or anxieties that you have had once you were awarded the Tuhon rank? How did you get over them? And what advice might you have for future female Tuhans in PTK?
Uh, of course, I have a lot of anxieties and insecurities. Are you kidding me? I mean,
I would.
if you look at Tuhon back in the day, I actually when the five Tuhons that Tuhon Jared was talking about last night, well, the other night. Sorry, I'm so confused with dates. I met them during that year. So it was Tuhon Jared, Tuhon Loki. I mean, just thinking about all people like that, Tuhon Romel, Tuhon Leslie, Tuhon Philip. I don't think I'm along the ranks of those people. So just to be honest. But how I dealt with it is that I also understood it is something that he wanted to give me. And so I had to separate from, okay, what's the Tuhon image that I have or expectations that I have, as opposed to him wanting to give me something. In a
Mm.
way, I had my own assumptions about it. He's also aging, and I feel like sometimes I'm thinking maybe he just feels like there's just no time, and maybe he's just giving it to me in advance instead of, you know what I mean? I did that. I did those
No, you overthink it is what
life.
it comes down to. You start overthinking things. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and obviously he saw something very, very good in you. He saw that you're a hard worker. I mean, obviously he saw absolute positive things in you. So you know what I mean, which is obviously a testament to your work ethic. You know.
And I think that's why, even when he told me about it, I did not say anything but thank you, just to respect what he wanted.
Mm.
But then in my head, of course, I'm like, all right, if I'm not ready, then I'll get myself ready. I'll prepare myself for it. I will probably never be as good as the other two Hons, but I think at the end of the day, they are just titles, right? And so it really, what really matters is, what do I do with that now that I have that rank? Do I feel like I have more responsibility, or where do I stand with this? And so I was able to settle with, okay, well, the only thing that I can really do is do the best that I can do every day. There's really nothing else I can do but do that, and keep training. Keep training, keep sharing with the others, and learn from my students and my teachers. Continue to learn from them.
Yeah, no, no. I'm sure you're nothing, I've seen it just from the short time we know each other. I mean, you're obviously leading by example by what you're doing. I mean, the women's, which we're going to get to, and the FMA exchange and all that. So you obviously saw something, so that, got a couple questions here. So I just want to make sure I'm not missing them so I can tie them into, let me see here. Your phone, is that your call sign? Yeah, I left my phone on, Julius. I think every promotion of higher level, there's a mix of excitement, anxiety, new level. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense, Maestro Alvin. All right, and we got here, nice to see women do well. Absolutely, Guru Paul. Survey and the female pregnant on how we can make them. Yes, I'm going to tie that into, I got a similar question, Guru Jay, and wish you could come out. We're gonna have fun. In your mind, how are you preparing? In your mind, all right, we can tie this in because we just kind of went over. In your mind, how are you preparing for the new rank? What is the new rank?
It's good because even if I try to come up with a really nice answer, the only answer really that's in my head is, I train every day. My husband would attest to that. I have a notebook even in my beside my bed, and I have a stick, well, and other things beside my bed. So you know what I mean. And I just think about it constantly. This is addicting, this thing. I probably would need some counseling after this, but I just can't stop thinking about it. It's really addicting. It's a puzzle. And talking to people, networking, learning how to listen to other people's forums, listening in, um, looking at their experiences. I keep asking questions. I'm in contact with a lot of other Tuhons, Mandalas, Agalons instructors, not only PTK, but also outside of PTK and other martial arts. And so when you build your own support system, it really helps, because then you're able to do that. And at the end of the day, my only concern really is, am I prepared for my life? That's really what it is. I don't care so much about what people would think of me in the FMA world, because it's a big world still for me. Whenever I feel like it's becoming too much for me, I go back to my class and I would teach my students, and they would remind me what this is about. Without knowing it. Whenever I go to my class, it's just a breath of fresh air for me because they give me balance. They're the ones who keep my feet on the ground and remind me of, why I'm doing this.
Yeah, I totally agree. The students, your students, I feel the same way. You know what I mean? They could, they're the true representation of who you are. You know what I mean? In many ways. Yeah, so I like that answer. I think that's neat, oh, good, great stuff so far. So we're gonna go. All right, we're gonna shift gears a little bit. So let's get into okay. Okay, so when did you actually start? Like, I guess, when did you actually start teaching? Like, where you like, I guess, formally teaching. I guess we could put it.
I started, well, meaning formally, like,
I guess like an actual classroom setting per se. I guess.
okay, I started teaching within my first year, but only because I'm naturally a teacher. I'm a teacher by profession,
Right. Okay.
so I always take on that role. And also, I have some basics. I got the basics down. Fortunately, through my other experience, plus folk dancing. Remember, so it really helped me because I have a musical background, and so it helps me a lot to process the information. But the KDP, the study group that I have, I believe formally it was conceptualizing in 2012, but in 2013 is when I'm more active and really becoming more serious about it.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With regards, then and during the middle there, like the 2013, 14, and present day, what do you what are you trying to impart in your students? Like, are you trying to obviously I'm not saying you're trying to be GT, obviously, but like but what do somebody new walking in the door and all that, what are you trying to impart in them?
When you walk in the door, I push them away. That's number one thing that I do. Because, like I said, I don't know everything, and so I keep telling them, "Are you sure you really want to be here?" Because I'm a woman, I don't have any background. I'm not law enforcement, right?
Okay, right, yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure because I have to delineate really what I teach. Okay,
Yeah.
I teach back in the day. My only thing was okay. I teach PTK fundamentals. If you want to do it, come and train with us. And that's the only promise I have. And until now, I'm delivering that promise. Other than that, the honesty is that in the world, whenever you're gonna get to an altercation or if there's violence, right? All of these things go out the door. So there are really important things that are very, very simple, and the other flowery movements are more because it's more an exploration and it's necessary. I'm not saying that it's not. It's a necessary thing. So anyway, I'm getting out of the question. I'm sorry, but but yeah, for me, what I'm imparting to them is this: we are here to do the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are the important things. We do certain things, some drills to be out of the box. But when you go out of that box, you're just out of a small box, and now you're in a bigger box. You go out of that bigger box, you will end up in another box. Okay, it will never end. There will always be something that you can think of. Again, it's a beautiful thing, but it can be a limitation for people who are seeing an endpoint. There's no endpoint to this, right? There is a structure also, but out with that structure, you gotta learn how to deconstruct, reconstruct, deconstruct, reconstruct.
Okay.
That is the way that you know that it's not about mastering the system, it's about mastering yourself. Because in that sense, if you know yourself, then you're able to respond to particular situations because you already know internally what your position is. Kind of like my same approach with the Tuhon rank or my own training.
Okay.
I always need to go back to what do I feel deep inside? What's my stand? Where do I stand? And then once I know where I stand, then then there's only winning. There's no more losing because I know where I stand.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow, that was well put. Yeah, that was wow, I like that. That was that was different. I'm gonna have to write that down. You might be getting the a couple people make incredible quotes like quotes. I had Ray uh, Ray Galong on here, and he made a quote that just quote of the year. But what you just said, I don't know. You might be in the running with him. All right, I have some more questions here, folks. All right, okay. Those who sent questions, I'm going to try to tie them in, pending the subject matter we're talking about. So if I don't get to them right away, it's not that I'm ignoring them. All right, let me just catch up here. Oh boy. Okay, so let me just see. Artist. Can you see these as well, Tuhon?
Yes, there's a lot. It's a little small, but I can see some. Like right now, I can see. Is it Paul Antokin? Are you considering yourself as a Katipunera?
History of women play a large role. Their natural goal to help.
I deserve to think that I'm a Katipunera. Sometimes I feel like I'm still Maria Clara at some point. So I have two sides. Sometimes I'm Katipunera when I'm provoked, but then I am mostly in the Maria Clara side, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a Filipino thing.
Yeah, no. I was definitely and then we got next one is regarding I just lost track here, darn it. Okay, the FMA group in the survey. Okay, I'm definitely gonna be covering that in a little bit. So we'll get to that. Actually, I had a very similar question. All right. Julius, have you experienced esoteric, humanist, and luminal equivalent side of FMA? Can you see that, John?
Yes, and I can answer. I don't have any esoteric experience in FMA. I have esoteric experience outside of it, from my other activities back in the day. So yes, I do have that, but not in FMA. No.
Okay. Oh, all right. My God, it keeps going too fast. I have to back up. I'm having mouse issues or finger controlling issues. All right, here we go. All right,
Then you explore the traditional dances. Have you seen everything?
yes, I did. Yeah, because you covered. Yeah, but we can back up if you want to cover that. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, so if you guys know, I just learned this because I was preparing for this interview. So I was looking into mansplaining and all that because I don't know what it is. I have to educate myself. And then I came across bropriation, where you're taking ideas from a woman and whatever. But anyway, my point is this. I actually have told a few people back in the day, I'm not going to say who, about certain ideas of how the culture is related with FMA. And like I said, back in the day, they really didn't know my background. I don't tell people that I have experience in FMA. I just go and enroll, and then I do my thing, and then I go and practice and things like that. They don't have to know what I do. Although now with Dean Franco and actually also with Callie, Doug, or with Doug Marsh, I did reveal a few things. But so yeah, I have been telling people about culture being related to the movements in FMA. Even when you're doing the coconut and you're grating the coconut, to me, it's like dumog. Because when I'm hitting somebody's head on the floor, I really remember the times when I had to grate the coconut and make coconut milk. And of course, with the dance, definitely it's a part of it. I am Tagalog, so unfortunately, my dances are more Spanish influence. But I do see maglalatik, definitely, although I'm a girl, so I don't dance maglalatik because it's only for males, but I'm aware of those things. So yes, there's a difference. And it helps me remember the movements because of the fact that, it's correlated with the dance.
So for the person who had more of a vested interest in seeing some of this, where can they access? Like YouTube, if I had to guess?
Which one?
Just some of the dances that you referenced and all that. Can YouTube, I guess? What do you?
Yes, you can go to YouTube, go to Bayanihan Dance Company. But honestly, even if you don't go to Bayanihan Dance Company, there are so many videos on YouTube right now. Even
I
if
was gonna
they're
say,
not a
okay, okay.
company, you can see good examples.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm curious. Yeah.
there are also some war dances, but some of the war dances, sometimes you don't really see the specifics or the details of the dance. But
Mm.
I know some people are trying to revive it. So probably in the next coming years, you'll see more and more coming out. The Filipino American community, sometimes I feel like they're actually better than Filipinos because they're constantly searching for details in our culture, and then they're presenting it to the public. And so I actually get a lot of resources from Filipino American
Oh,
children
okay.
who are doing the dance so that they can pass it on.
Okay. All right. Um, let, let me explain to you what mansplaining is. All right. Dean knows coconuts. Yeah. Did
Saw
you
that.
see that? Did you see that whole thing?
I did.
The trick they play? Oh my gosh.
They
I'm
tricked
telling you, I'm
you.
getting them back. I don't know
It was
how.
a nice trick, though. I'm sorry. I enjoyed seeing that one.
Yeah, they're tremendously a lot of fun and great guys. They're going to be on next month, incidentally, and I'm sure it's going to be probably more funny than. But I'm trying to figure a way long range. I mean, literally long range, how I can get them back, and I'm not coming up with any ideas yet. So.
Somebody's also asking where I'm from. So I was born in Manila, so boo, right? But I also lived in Lipa City, Batangas. So I know you're from Batangas, Julius. Are you? I know some people are Batangueño in here. So yeah, Batangas, I would say. Also Bicol, where GT was born. It was in Legazpi, so we're about an hour away from GT's birth city.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm curious. I'm definitely going to go on YouTube and check them out. I've got an interest. All right, get them. Yeah, you're right, Eric. I am going to get. All right, let's go. We're going because I got plenty more to cover. So we got a
Ala,
little.
Emang Batangueño pala dyan eh. If
What's
there,
that?
if there's, they said there's a lot of Batangueños, so I'm gonna speak with my oh, sa Taal Cuenca. Oh, okay. Padre Garcia, yes.
Okay.
They have to tell me what high school they went to. Maybe we have the same school or something.
Oh wow. Oh, okay. That's all right. Your view. Okay, so you're teaching. So you started teaching early. Obviously, you're continuing to teach and all that. We got a little what you try and impart in your students and what have you. What's your take? Just from I'm just always curious to hear from the women's lens, and particularly those who teach. What's your value and how much importance you place on with your students sparring? So first, you know, how do you view it from from your own journey, I guess, and how important is it to you to do also to instill in your students?
That's my question. For the sparring, it depends because sometimes there's a high turnover in my class. Some people are getting deployed, some people changing locations. I have changed locations myself. So because of that, it's not something that I do say every Saturday is a sparring day. What I do is there's a cycle where we do like certain things for Kali, but then I incorporate sparring in there. So that's the fourth cycle, which is it's a quarterly thing. So that's the end of the year, which is winter, is when we do sparring. But our sparring is not as advanced as the other groups where there has to be blood, because I deal with people who are public servants and I need them to be safe so that they can actually do their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But still, there are some components in there that they're learning and some attributes. So yes, sparring is important, pressure testing is important. It's just a matter of getting the right people and the right level to where we can actually do it on a higher level. I'm still putting together my group. We had a lot of turnover, so I need to work on them on stuff. But yesterday we did some, I would still say soft sparring because it's with gears and pads, padded sticks, but we were doing contact, but I would still consider that soft because it's not the real stick.
But there's still so many benefits, even though if you're using a soft stick. It's like I think it's misconstrued. That you have to go out there with a rattan and minimal gear and all that. And I do all of it, but for students and student retention, if they're new, it's probably not the best way to, as far as retaining students. And like you mentioned, you got students who are, they're going to work, jobs, they can't go in there busted up or having a broken hand or a kneecap that's been, displaced or what have you. So, but in my opinion, there's ways to still do it and get, where they're actually doing it and they're getting some development in there, and they're seeing weapons coming at them, and they're all that. There's ways to go about it without.
And also, there's two things. So all of the things we do, these drills, all the forms, the sparring, all of them are tools to learn the main point. And the main point really is not that much. So yes, it's a huge system, but just again, it's my opinion. It's a huge system, but at the end of the day, when it comes to a real situation, this is a very quick thing, right? But we do this every week. We train every week. We do so many things, right? We have a lot in our curriculum, but only because these are tools for us to get the attributes. So even if people are saying, "Oh, this doesn't work in a real fight," yeah, it doesn't, because it's a training tool. So naturally, it won't work in a real fight. That's the main point.
Yeah.
The same thing with shooting. You shoot. I can train taking it out of my holster and just repeatedly do it. Now, the way you take out the gun from a holster when you do your first training, say you're not experienced, yeah, it's gonna be step by step, and it's not gonna be realistic. But there are really some people who needed that. They need the space. The only time that we're having issues is when there are people who are at this level. There's a misdiagnosis of the level of the person you're teaching, and you're giving them this level of learning when they're supposed to be here. And that's where sometimes we have issues in the classroom because of that misdiagnosis. It's the same. And then for what was I about to say? For I think I forgot what I wanted to say next, but I'll remember it later. But that's I think that's the main point. There really is, for me, a teaching component, and a component when they're out there, it will really be different. And that's why I keep telling my students, do you really want to be here? Because this is, I apologize for this because it's just.
Oh, no worries. We can still hear you.
I have to constantly tell my students and remind them that, hey, if today we're not going to do some conditioning drills because we have a lot on the plate, meaning I have things that I needed to give you for tonight. So if you guys need to work out whatever, please do it outside. I can give you suggestions. But if you want to really accelerate your learning, the students need to allow me to do my job, but they also need to do their part, because this is not, I'm not gonna make them be good. That's still gonna be their decision. The only work that I have is to give them the tools and the environment to be able to flourish and have an understanding, open their mind. When they are here, they need to learn how to assess the area, right? It's kind of like basic life support. So when somebody needs CPR, the first thing you need to do is the scene safe. So it's the same thing when you're in an altercation. You have to learn how to scan your environment. Same thing with shooting. You have to learn first what the situation is. So again, there are many things at play here. So whenever people are in the classroom, we do classroom things. Whenever you're sparring, you take out those tools, and now it's time for you to decide, okay, how are you going to use all those tools? And then you get, another level of pressure testing, meaning some people are in the maze, right? Where there are facilities like the one by Chris in Canada, they have a really nice facility for PTTA there. Just things like that, where now it's a bit more realistic, you know, you get more, and the anxiety level may be higher, the stakes are higher, and also there's a lot more unknowns. But you have to do this bit by bit. It cannot be, all right, I taught you for 3 months, and the only element that you considered as a teacher is I've taught them for 3 months, so they should be ready for sparring. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of things at play for the instructor to actually make a decision. Okay, we can spar now as a group. And then you also have your, sorry, I'm blabbing now, but there's an individual level and the group level. Because it's a multi-level class. I don't think there's an FMA class out there, or maybe.
No, yeah, everybody's at, no, right, exactly. They're at different levels. So you have to calibrate based on who you got in your class. I mean,
yes, and you have multi-level people every single time, because it's FMA is not a big class. So whenever I'm in my class, I have to know, even if I know that their schedule is, say, Wednesday, I still need to know who's there, because one person being out changes the whole dynamic of my class. Say that a weak link in the class and he's absent. Okay, now I'm gonna make this a bit more complicated for them. If they're all there and I got the beginners all the way to, say, intermediate to advanced, then I have to kind of look at how I can connect all of the drills so that the advanced person can benefit from it, but my beginner will also not feel that they're being left out.
Yeah, no, I know it can be challenging. I mean, depending on what you're working on and who you got in the classroom setting. I mean, for sure. Sometimes you gotta get creative, you know. But so currently, I mean, so did you, you know, I know with COVID obviously going on, you know, I know not a whole lot's going on. But did you actually have a physical school, or were you using somebody's facility, or?
I'm here in my basement. I do private sessions only. I'm here in my basement. This is what I use. I don't go out.
Okay. Oh, so you have them come right. Oh, I got you. Okay. No, that's great. Low overhead. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why now my classes are full, because I only take in the amount of people that I can handle with the space and also just with my schedule. So sometimes I pull people who's interested in learning, and then whenever I have an opening, then I would contact them. We would go through the interview, observation, but I have to interview them on the phone, then an in-person interview with with observation. Of course, they participate too, but it has to be where I tell my students, you know, you choose us, but we also choose you. So we choose each other. It cannot be just one person.
Yeah, right. I mean, with weapons, yeah, you know, I totally agree. With weapons, it's like you can't just let anybody walk in the door and just say, yeah, sign up, without, you know, maybe having a little background or a little understanding of maybe, you know, how they're wired, I guess, per se. You know what I mean? So I think that's really responsible on your part that you're doing that. So you're teaching. Okay, so you're teaching out your basement. So with the restrictions, so I mean, what do you like, having around 6-8 students pending, or
4 to 6.
4 to 6? Okay. 4 to 6, and then now with assuming, you know, COVID like goes away in our hopefully near future, then how many would you have?
Oh, without COVID? Oh, no. Now that I've transitioned to just private classes. This is perfect for me. Although the ideal class size, to answer Chad, is I really don't have that in my head of what my ideal size is. I can go up to 30 if I want. I can teach that a big crowd. But what I do have is an ideal time. My ideal time really is 4 hours. That's my ideal training time. That's my favorite duration. But I can go to 2 hours. Sometimes I think it's too much for the people because they're really being overwhelmed with the information. So we're down to an hour and a half per week only, because of what's going on in DC and all that. So with all our work, it's just harder. So we just do that. But I have a system to support them outside of class, which is the asynchronous training, is which I've been doing since 2014. And what that means is that, you know, they can learn from me, but there's also a system through the website where they can get materials, review materials, notes, and they can call me at any time and send me.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because of the kind of people I have, they're
Mm.
busy people, and so it's important to where if they think about a question, I want them to be able to address that question right away so they don't forget.
Okay. No, no, that's fantastic. I mean, that you're so proactive, and providing resources for your students. So what now? But you're of course are doing Zoom, right? You're doing Zoom classes. Am I
I do
correct?
Zoom classes, but it's only for the people who I already know because it's easier to make that connection and give them.
Yeah, you're not somebody new coming in. I got you. I got
Yeah,
you.
I don't recommend it for people who have no FMA experience and then go to
It could
Zoom
be
right
tough,
away.
especially if they're in there with people that it can be challenging because you're not right there. But then, yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, all right. So, I mean, but you're currently, and you're, how many times you doing this Zoom during the week?
Only once a week because
Okay.
I also have a profession that I'm doing on a daily basis. So I do it once a week, and then in-person classes
Yeah,
for.
no, that's great. Okay. All right, let's get to it, folks. Next subject matter, which I still have to get this, and it's on those things of, on the list there, but let's talk about the book. What was your,
Oh,
I know, I've heard nothing but great things about it. Again, it's on the list for me to, or it's just one thing after another. But at any rate, what was the inspiration for it? Like, what made you decide to write a book?
no, it's funny because I didn't write I mean, I don't feel like I authored the book because it's really just drawings.
Well, I
So,
mean,
but
but it
this
is
is
in a
a
book
book.
format.
I feel like it's just compiled handouts, which it was. So for me, and I actually have it beside me. So
Okay.
I
For
have
those who have not, the one reason I just want to bring up here, for those who maybe have not gotten it yet, like myself or those who are interested, I mean, here it is. And I think you can get it on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and I'm sure your website, but here it is, folks, visualizing flow. But right now I'm going to just lower this and I'll pop it back up at the end. So for those who want to see it again or what have you. But yeah, but anyway, I mean, but it's in book format, whatever. Regardless, I mean, it was an accomplishment. So what was again the inspiration? What made you want to do it?
my inspiration is my students. They're my inspiration because it's actually for them. I made it for them,
Mm.
and I'm a note taker. So as you can see, usually I would put in here, say, if you can see it,
I can see.
hopefully.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you see, I put the date and who did it with me. I mean, who's my teacher and what the topic is. Like this one is GT and it's safety baton, and I do my own drawings. Like right there, it's just a
Okay.
lovely hand drawing right there. But so I do that. I've been doing it ever since I started, even with Guru Bobby. So and then I have a little diary sometimes if I have my thoughts, but I really like doing this. This one has color.
Okay.
So I have my own drawing stuff, although it's not really sketches, but sometimes I do my own flow diagrams. This was way
Oh
back.
wow.
I'm better now, but this was before for my Stade Idaga flow chart because for this flow chart, what I did, I drew the chart and I wanted my students before we start, okay, I want you to trace whatever you want, just trace the
Mm.
movement that you want to do. And then I ask them to, so it's like decoding and encoding, and then I'm asking them to decode using their movements. So
Yeah.
there are some people who are cognitive, and so I need them to learn how to, from paper, do it physically. Some people are physical, they don't need the paper, but there are some
Right.
that I needed to transition from being very academic to going to physical. So that was my way of taking them out of their shell, I guess, if I can say it that way.
Yeah. No, I think that's wow.
Mhm.
Fantastic. I mean, I've heard nothing but accolades, positive from the book. So obviously,
Oh, that's
it
good.
must be a
That's
great thing.
good to know because when I saw that other people, actually, thank you to Mandala Rob for sharing that initially. He really supported that book. I'm very grateful for him. And then, yeah, later I'll have more people to think. But here is for like double knives for cross hacking. And if whenever I draw, I see the pattern, it's easier.
Mm,
Um, it's just easier to see other things that I may have missed. Um,
yeah.
Usually I see the lines in my head and I hear beats in my ear. I hear music. Back in the day, it was worse because I hear music and I have to run and record it. Now it's more quiet. I hear beats, drum beats only, probably because I'm doing Cali. So
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
when I have that, I need to still see what's in my head because sometimes
Mm.
I miss certain details. So that's what I do.
I tell you, I wish, man, I wish I had that talent that you do. I mean, like if you, man, sometimes I can't even read my own notes, let alone diagrams. Wow. That's, I'm just too hurried. That's, I got to just slow down. But no, I mean, fantastic stuff. Um, and you got a good review from GM Poggi on the website regarding your book.
Oh yes.
I mean,
I know. I posted
so I
that
mean,
online. I was like,
I'm
wow.
sure that had to like increase sales. I mean, so.
Yeah, he convinced a lot of
Oh my
people.
gosh! All right, let's get on to because we still got a couple things here. But this has been fantastic thus far. All right, the women, I think it's fantastic. When I first caught wind of your FMA women's group, matter of fact, I think I sent a message too, and I did get a reply. I'm assuming the reply must have came from you. This is going back some months, of course, but it was refreshing to see because I'm like, oh, this is great because this is about when I started doing interviews, and I was trying to get a source to get women to come on. So, so when I saw your group, at that time I didn't know it was you or your group. So, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I mean, I'm gonna have like a almost like a farm team, so to speak, to pull from. And so when did you start? When did you start the group?
Actually, I started it when Tuhon Jack had an interview with you and he mentioned my name. And then
Mm,
we were talking about the females. And like what I said in our test run, I had no idea what the answers are because I just have no idea. I've been so used to training by myself that I really did not think about, what do women want? Because to me, although there are other factors that make it the way it is, at the end of the day, what I learned was if they want to be here, they will be here. If they can
yeah,
be here, they will be here. Just like with the men who are also taking time out of their everyday life to come here and learn, right?
yeah, right. They want to make it a priority. They will. Yeah.
Yes. So then I thought, okay, let me do the survey. So what came in first was the survey. Then when I did the survey, I released the results. And when I released the results, it was more, you know what, let me write a paper on this one. I mean, it's not a like a formal research paper or anything like that. But I said, let me present it to where at least we have charts and graphs so we can we can see patterns and
Mm.
trends. And then and excuse me if my English is not accurate or I'm not
No,
being
no, it's fine.
correct. But so anyway, I released the survey, and then Aperture Fight Focus with Paul Rubio. There were some discussions, really good discussions that's going on in there. And so then Royce Ramos, Matas na Guru Royce from New York, at the end of all that, sent us a chat with a few women in there, including Grandmaster Peachy Baron. And I was like, wow, Royce knows a lot of women. I mean, I didn't know that
Mm,
there are. I mean, I know there are women out there. I just
sure.
didn't know that somebody knows that much to where he can create a chat. But then I thought, okay, we have a chat right now. What are we gonna do with the chat? This is hard. If we're just gonna chat on what? We don't know each other. And how are we gonna do this where there's a system? I'm quite systematic, as you can see already, but
Yeah, yeah.
always need a system because it's easier to manage rather than, chat. And then now you gotta scroll. So anyway, I said, okay, let me open a page so that we can all come together and record, document the things that we talk about, or maybe do more surveys, something like that. So I asked for some moderators, volunteer moderators. Some people did volunteer for that. There were two women who came up with a name. So at the very beginning, we were already collaborating on a very basic
Okay.
level. And so that was really fun to see. So yeah, now we have 128 members.
Oh, fantastic.
Look, I think we have about around that. So
Right.
yes, so we created it around December.
Okay. Okay. No, I
We have
think it's great that
58
you're doing
members.
that. You formed that group. You know, I think it's much needed. You guys kind of have like your own little group, and obviously it's not just women. I mean, but I think it's fantastic. Now, have you, now with regards to the group, before I go into the FMA exchange, are you, are you, is anybody can post in there? I mean, like, what's, how, how's it set up, to get traffic there, I guess is what I'm alluding to.
So I'm not so much concerned about the traffic right now because I already am expecting it's not gonna be that big. Although I'm being surprised right now because there are people who are signing up for it.
Hmm.
I think right now I'm more concerned about the structure and what the future will be for this because I hate to start something and then not be able to see how this will run for a longer period of time. I am
Hmm.
only the administrator, and that's how I see myself. I'm not the leader of the group or anything like that. I think there are other people who are more fitting for the position. So
That's
I
so
think
funny.
eventually, huh?
No, it's so funny because it's like FMA discussion. Like,
Yeah.
I need like three moderators, man. I'm just missing stuff. It's just, I just don't have time to like go back there and just go and just see if anybody's not behaving the way they're supposed to be, or it's tough.
Well, there are some tools on Facebook that where you can somehow moderate. You can put some words that are a no-no so that it will ping you whenever somebody says a bad word. Also, with my postings, people think that I'm always on Facebook, but really I schedule all of my postings for the month or sometimes 2 months if I
Hmm.
have the time. So it's constantly doing its own thing. And then,
Okay, okay, okay.
yeah, so it makes my life easier that
Yeah,
way.
no, I mean,
It's more, just for management, it's easier
yeah,
that.
that would be, no, that's helpful because there's something I got to do. I just like, I just know for a fact I'm missing stuff. You know what I mean? Unless, I've told people, hey, look, if you see something that shouldn't be there, by all means, message me and what have you. But Julius, volunteers, man, volunteer. Hey, Julius, you're you're hired. I'm not even kidding.
When you automate the page, you can focus on the people in it. Like if they message me, I can actually take the time to personally send them a message rather than thinking about my post for the day or whatnot. So I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
redirect my my focus somewhere else and something more important. So.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So right now, the content on there, obviously, you got videos of female practitioners doing their thing and what have you. I mean, yeah, no,
Yeah, so
I
it's
think it's
kind of like FMA Women page, and they're doing great, by the way, because I do get that. But what I do catch myself doing is now I'm stalking women and inviting them to do this with me, right? So it's kind of hard in the beginning because I feel like, oh, I can't do this forever where I'm stalking
yeah,
people.
I
And I wish
know.
more people will actually take part because right now people are still shy in putting their materials out there. But really, the purpose of that is we need to be first be aware. Well, because we've already identified the problem through the survey, the
Mm,
next thing to do is, okay, we need to be more aware of what the situation is, and then at least get to the point of how do we resolve this, or are there any
mm,
other issues? How do we resolve this? But
yeah.
right now through the FMA exchange, I guess we're at least bonding, getting to see each other on Zoom. So it's a good way to
I
get
think it's
started.
fantastic. Yeah, right. I think it serves as a great bridge. You know what I mean? Where for like classes and all that. I think it's a wonderful thing, and then which is going to lead to the FMA Exchange / survey, and this will kind of cover questions from, I think there were a couple of people that asked about this, so, but I'm going to cover those questions, those who asked in here, because I had similar questions. So what's, again, the FMA Exchange, how'd it come about, and the survey, and you touched on the survey a little, but the FMA Exchange, let's hear about
Yeah,
it.
we had a meeting for the women group because we were forming it, so we had to brainstorm. One of the attendees told me that she didn't know that there are other FMA systems. She thought it was just what she was learning. So then that sparked something in me saying, you know what? I know a few people who can help with that.
Yeah,
And then usually with me, whenever I do a program, I already think, okay, what's the picture? What's the title? What are the
yeah,
mechanics? That way it's easier to invite people when they know mechanics. So then I already prepared my volunteer letter. I already did the picture and all that. That way when you present it, people know, okay, there's a direction, right?
yeah, they see
So,
it. Yeah.
a lot
Wish
of
I had
people signed up though, only because they know me and my page is still not, it's not public really. So,
that.
but it's good now we're getting more attention from other styles. And I hope they won't feel as though this is a PTK project because it's actually an FMA project. So anyway, yeah, so that's what we did, and we follow the mechanics. People are going on Zoom, and I'm broadcasting on Facebook Live on our Facebook page
Right.
while we're doing the Zoom, so that people who are at work, some of them are working, say in the hospital, and they want to just check in real quick, they can still do it through the Facebook Live and not have to go
Yeah,
through
yeah.
Zoom and feel like some people still feel like if they go to Zoom and they're late, they feel like they're in an actual classroom and they're gonna get in trouble for it. And I don't blame them for that. I actually like that because they respect the digital space. But then just to not let people feel bad about it, I said, you know what, let me broadcast it on Facebook Live as well so that they can come in and out without feeling guilty.
Yeah, right. They don't, right, where they don't feel like they're interrupting or intruding, and they can at their own leisure and all that. So so let's all right. So the exchange, it's already been kicking off. You've had a few people, right, already
Yes,
doing
you
it.
will be the next one on Saturday. And then our
Ooh,
first female led, yes,
ooh,
remember?
ooh.
and then on, and then on the President's Day, it's a federal holiday. It's a Monday. We will have Miss Diana Rathborn, or Guru Diana Rathborn from MKG, Minnesota Cali Group. She will present to us, and that one will be public. So the way that it's going to work for right now, at least this is my idea, but it can be better next time through other suggestions and recommendations. For right now, what I'm doing is if it's the males, you go through FMA Exchange to be able to reach out to the ladies.
Yeah.
And then the ladies side will have to go out in public so that the male practitioners can actually see it. And I
Ah,
apologize if I'm doing male and female. I understand it shouldn't be separate. I'm one of those people who believe in co-ed if possible. But from the survey, I realized there are some women out there who have triggers. Interestingly, I'm just gonna go back to the survey. I printed the survey here, so it will guide me because I don't have it on
okay.
my head. But besides identifying the problems, I actually charted some male and female responses, and you can see how they're deviating from each other or how they're close to each other.
Mm,
So
okay.
it's funny because when it comes to just overall, just looking at it, it seems like the women like a relaxed, safe, welcoming environment, right? And it's funny, they're not even talking about the men per se, but just the whole and everything. It should be clean classroom. The ladies, they want a clean classroom. They want the guys to also have a welcoming environment. Well, the classroom to have a welcoming experience. And then they also want to share. So just something to take note, and we can discuss more later on. But the responses seems to be that the ladies want to learn, and from that experience, they want to share. They
Okay.
also enjoy having shared experiences with women. So it's very important to have women in the classroom. For the men, though, what I found out from the survey is that the men do want safety for women. They just don't know how to actually do that. They're having challenges with exactly how to get the women what they want in the classroom.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think that's pretty interesting and a good thing, not only for the males to hear, but also for the females and understand that. I understand there's FMA culture. We can talk about that some other time and really identify what are the red flags and what can we do about it. But generally, especially the instructors, the male instructors are aware of this somehow subconsciously, and they're also wanting to know what to do. But if we are not, as a woman, if we're not seeing anything about it and having no clear, direction on where we want to go, it will stay this way. Nothing's
Mm.
going to change. We'll
Yeah, yeah,
always
right, right.
have
Without, yeah.
dropouts. We're always going to have, I mean, I think it's a consolation to know that FMA culture is not the main reason why females are dropping out of class. The number one reason is because of personal issues. They have their own fears. Cost and time is showed up. Females not feeling like they don't deserve to do this because it's like a treat because they're doing something for themselves. Um,
Mm.
and males on the survey sounded like, in general, they're wanting females to really get this, but it's like they're like shaking us and saying, you are, it's not safe out there, and we can show you how to do this. All you need to do is sit down and listen. And females are like, no, you don't understand my fears. You're not listening to me. So I think
Yeah,
communication.
that's why I know. See, this kind of parallels, and one of my episodes coming up, I'm actually kind of brainstorming this, but this parallels what you're talking about, women's self-defense as a whole. And this is why I mean, you guys have to be part of the equation. Like, it's so easy for us just to sit there and create something, and the stuff that's out there, in my opinion, is I just don't think it's good. Not all of it, of course, not all of it. I don't want to say that. I'm just saying, but generally speaking, I just think a lot of it's just not is not really good. But it has to come, So one episode I'm going to have on, and you're more than welcome to join in if you want to. It's going to be. It's not going to just be one. I'm going to have like 2 or 3 guests, and for all you guys, basically, I'm going to kind of extract at you guys, like what would it be the ingredients? What would comprise a good women's self-defense, and not just from physical techniques. I mean, like the pre, the during, aftermath. I think it needs all to be kind of brought together. So, but the parallel what you said is true. Like you guys have to be part of it.
But also, I don't know if people will agree to it though. But my view with this whole FMA and self-defense thing is, for me, self-defense is separate from my FMA life.
Yeah, right. No, and I agree.
I compartmentalize them because if I'm learning the art, and I'm not saying that for me it's functional art with FMA right now, because I see the flow, but I know the function of that flow, and I can convert that in how I can make that work. Because right now flow is my power, not only because it looks good, but because with the flow I can trick you into going somewhere, and then but really I'm going on the other side. And so I really make flow my power because I'm small, I'm weak, and I really only have my brain to as my source of power right now, which is strategy. But learning FMA is one thing, but also learning about self-defense concepts is another, because that's where I guess for the guys, that's like our tactics. So if you guys are learning about, say, how do I mix my blade knowledge with my pistol techniques, whatever you call it, right? So how can I? Sorry about that.
No worries. We can still hear
How
you.
can I put that together? So for the women, and I'm not saying that women don't shoot. Some
Mhm.
people do, but it's also quite rare. But that's our tactics right there. How can I use my bag, my car key, and if ever there's a situation, right? Because that's our everyday thing. For the guys, it's a little bit different. So, and that's how I kind of see it in my head. So when I'm teaching students, I'm always telling them, okay, right now, this is the lesson. This is what we're going to do. This is our goal for the night. And then I also tell them what the goal is for the quarter. That way they know, they understand where we're going with this. I'm teaching them how to use the tools,
Yeah. No.
the
No. Right. No.
training, so that they can do it themselves. They won't need me anymore. The ultimate purpose here is for them to be independent and be independent thinkers. It doesn't make any sense for me to be the source, and they see me and respect me as the source, when I need them to know that they are the source, not me. Just like what GT is saying, we are the book. And that's what he means by that, in my opinion. It's not
Yeah,
really that don't make a book. He never said don't make a book. He never said don't publish a book. Don't He did not say that. What he said was you are the book, and that what that means is you are your own source. At the end of the day, you are gonna be by yourself and you're responsible for your own safety.
yeah, yeah. No, agreed. Again, yeah, like I said, you guys have to be part of it. I just do. I just firmly believe that, and many of the things that you mentioned. But if like I said, I'm kind of playing it out now and all that. I kind of have like a rough outline for it. But is that something you'd be interested in joining in on?
Yes.
Yeah, because again, it would be like 2 or 3 women, and basically just getting you guys and just kind of like coming up like with just a system per se, like a verbal system per se. um, but yeah. So all right. So then okay. So now you mentioned President's Day. You got. I'm sorry, Guru Diane, and who else you had coming on live? They'll
So
be running live on
it will
Facebook
be
on
on
President's.
Saturday, and then Guru Diana Rathborn will be for Monday.
Mhm.
And then I do have other people lined up for the next month.
Well, that's
I mean,
fantastic.
actually, also for February.
So all right, yeah, good. And I got your thing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Saturday. That's
Yes. You already had a lot of sign-ups when I first put it up there. I said, "Oh wow, he's so famous." I mean,
uh,
like just in general, just to see when I put your name in there, they a lot of them actually supported that one. But I still have probably what 10% participation right now. It's a little sad, but I'm
you know,
hoping
it'll
that
go.
it
It
will
will.
increase.
It will grow, and it will. And like when I first started doing these shows, it was scary. Like I'm like, maybe this wasn't like a good idea, or maybe this wasn't like the best timing. But you know what? It just stuck with it and just kept, and it will. It'll manifest. It will grow. You know what I mean? You just got to keep, in my opinion, you just got to keep at it because you're doing great things, and people see that, and they see how genuine it is. So I firmly believe that because of those reasons, it's going to grow. I really believe that.
But I do want to say, Urudin, I really want to thank the people who have volunteered, and and also the women who are constantly appreciating and putting their time in to say hello to the new people and all that.
Mhm.
What people don't understand is it's not easy to collaborate in FMA, but the male instructors really made it like very easy for me to do it.
Yeah.
And that just shows to me that there really are a lot of good people out there.
Oh,
We
that's
just need
100%.
to really highlight all of the solutions. We need to highlight the solutions. We had to have to highlight the people who are taking part in it, so that we can constantly be encouraged to stay on track. And
No,
I think there's a good future here.
I totally agree with you. It's gonna grow bigger and bigger. Just stay with it. I assure you that. And and by all means, please, if for the people coming up, if you can send me wherever it is, I mean, I'd be more than happy to post an FMA discussion. Hey, look, such and such as, and all that. I mean, by all means, I would be more than happy to do that. So I think, but
So
yeah.
today, Dean, I created a page,
Mhm.
the FMA Exchange page. I created it this afternoon, so that the people for that, because I know males want to be a part of the HSS. The only reason why I'm declining it is because I still need to see what they feel about it before I make a decision. It needs to be a community decision, because if they would like to have a space where they can speak up, then we need that, right? We need that space for themselves. But for the males, they can go to the FMA Exchange page, and then when the women will be ready to do public things, I do ask that please show support and actually attend, because if you tell them that they rock and they're badass but you don't go to their classes, it really does not mean that you believe in what they can teach you. So if you show that it's a high amount of people participating and actually wanting to receive from the knowledge that they can give us, then that's when we can really show our support. Not just Facebook sharing, or not that it doesn't help. I'm just saying that the ultimate goal really is for us to show that we want to learn from them as well. And it's good modeling too for the other people who are coming in FMA. Yeah. And one more thing that I forgot to mention, and I'm sorry, I'm just putting it out there, is that the funny thing is that some women, and not all women actually, said something about safe space. The men are the one who mentioned about safe space. So not that I'm not saying that women are not concerned of it. They're just weren't vocal much about it, right? They were more vocal about their limitations or other excuses, right? And I would say excuses. I'm sorry if I'm going to hurt people's feelings, because some of them may be, maybe under categorized under excuse. But also that there's a male actually who said that the FMA class is their safe space. So in that sense, I want both sides to understand we all are going through something, and we are all going to our classes with our own reasons.
Sure.
And a lot of people have trauma, including males. So if we're considering all of these things, I think that we both can come to terms in terms of how we want our classroom to be. Now, I understand there are some males out there who still want to be themselves. Okay, I from the responses, I see fear from the women about being triggered, but the males are also fearing that they're not going to be themselves, which is a kind of usual story, like getting married. Some males are having cold feet and all that. Okay, we get that, but I think the females also need to be understanding of that the males are in their space as well. So it's, at the end of the day, it's respect and communication.
No, I agree with everything you're saying. I just really think it's going to happen. I really do. I think just what you're doing is just there. It's just so genuinely good. I just think it might just take a little time. Some efforts jumping in from different sources and all that. But I really think it's going to happen. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it happens. So I'm going to be right there with you. So for the viewing audience, it's all women, correct? You're not letting men jump in. Am I accurate there?
For the Swift of the Blade community, it's all women only. And when the males are volunteering, I'm only doing it exclusively for the women because they volunteered for that mission. And I think, it's intellectual property too. I don't want the volunteers to also put out their material that they're selling online. So, I wanted to be considerate about it.
Yeah.
As for the females, though, whenever they're going to teach, and right now we only have Diana Rathborn on the line for right now. I'm still talking to the other instructors and convincing them to, to be ready for it. If they elect to do public, because I'm still giving them a choice, some of them may not be comfortable with it. So if they choose to do public, everybody can join, because at that point, at least I'm talking, it's coming outside. So that's why it's called FMA Exchange, because the women also we also need to step up. It's not fair when the guys are the only one giving us sessions. We also need to feel what it's like to be standing there and having to figure this out, right? Because that's the only way where we can understand each other. If you're going through what I'm going through, then you probably will be more considerate whenever, I'm teaching class, because you understand what it's like to think about your lesson plan. On one hand, for the females, whenever they're receiving a volunteer class from an instructor, I'm giving them participant surveys. So it's free event, but I need their thoughts, because I address that to the instructors so that the instructors can get something out of it, which is data. We need information as to how can I make my classes better when there's a woman in the classroom. So and that's why the mechanics are the way that it is.
No,
I
I
hope
think it's great.
that's a good set of mechanics for everybody.
No, no. I think it's fantastic. Matter of fact, I appreciate you giving me some of the things they're looking for this Saturday. Like some of the sparring things that help them with sparring and all that. And so I'm excited. I got one of my female students coming in and all that. So I'm looking forward to it. And yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited.
But when you said 14, I'm like, ooh, good heavens. But so I got all right. I guess I man, folks, if I missed a question, I mean, because we're going past an hour and a half here, which has been fantastic. However, if I missed a question, I apologize. Please, you would not mind if they sent it to you, correct? Via messenger.
I don't mind.
Yeah, and I don't think I did, because right now one of the things I'm going to tie into, it's a question from Guru Jay and Paul. I'm just gonna have to back up here, but one of the things I wanted to ask you is, I always like to get just people's insight that I have on here. Is what what changes would you like to see? I mean, you're very indirectly touched on a few already, but overall, what changes would you like to see in the FMA community? While I try to find these questions here.
What changes do I want to see?
What positive changes would you like to see in our community as a whole, regardless of the female aspect, male aspect, but just in general context of our overall community? What positive things would you like to see? For the positive, what changes would you like to see?
For me, I would like to be people to be more on the technical side. I would like to see more of that. I mean, I'm not saying culture is not important. It is the backbone of FMA. Really, it makes it so fun whenever we touch on the history of FMA. It makes it more personal and something that's really addicting. But on one hand, regarding the teaching piece and just the training piece, I would like to see more of just the technical side of it. I can't explain it further because I think it's a bit more complicated than that. But just like in the book where we see the lines, and then from that geometry, we look at how it's being applied, right, in the martial arts setting. And then later on, what are we extracting from it to apply in the tactical setting? Just things like that. Maybe more activities to where it's one, like Bayanihan type where all FMA schools are gathering. Which are happening actually. I just don't participate because they're not in my area. Yeah.
No. I'm always curious, because I usually everybody I'm asking is for the majority is the guys. So I always like it when I get a female's perspective, what changes they would like to see, what have you. Okay, I got Guru Jay's here. Question: what drove your research and surveying of the female FMA practitioners and how we can make FMA more inclusive across genders as a whole? And I think that's a great question.
So I did it out of curiosity because I'm going to this FMA discussion and I wanted to be able to give some vital information. And so what more is a better way than to ask the people who are doing it? So we did identify some factors, and it's on a document that I posted, which I can repost gladly to the public.
Okay.
But the responses or the recommendations, I did not do the recommendations myself. It was a question on the questionnaire, which, by the way, is quite provoking because I was saying, what's the disadvantage of having a female? And the most females were offended. Like, how dare you ask that question? Why would you say that it's a disadvantage? And I felt bad, but it was really for me to actually extract information. But anyway, the summary for the support, one is for the practitioners and one is for the instructors. So for the female students, you can support them 4 areas: the environment, the instructor, the program, and the community. I'm the one who did the classification here based on the responses.
Okay.
For the environment, for your students, it needs to be welcoming, safe, and supportive. The instructor, they want to see more professionalism, have open communication, proper feedback, appropriate reinforcement, because sometimes when the guys are training and you're giving them proper enforcement, and then the girls are, I don't know, maybe you're weak links, I don't know what you're thinking, but they seem to be just on the side, and then just do your flow and I'll be technical on this side, probably like that. The next thing is consistency, also realistic and appropriate expectations, manage trust, knowledge on how to cultivate success and leadership. Also, extra training and so well. Some people are saying maybe the instructors can have some extra knowledge. I think this is too much to ask for people to ask instructors to do domestic violence, violence against women, mental health. That's too much to ask for a martial arts instructor, guys. But it's good for a martial arts instructor to do it. I'm not saying no, but I'm just saying sometimes we expect our martial arts instructors to be God, and sometimes they also have limitations. You have to understand this. They have their own limitations. They cannot be everything to you. You have to be the one to look for your own resource and have your team of support. Okay, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, for the program, if possible, for the women, have flexible cost, because they're actually doing the financial stuff for their family sometimes, most of the time. Flexible schedule, because they're taking care of the children, doing dinner at 5 o'clock, the class is at 7, probably have, I was telling last time, it's like prime time, put them on the non-prime time slot. Progressive instruction, they can't jump from 0 to 100. Okay, especially they have their fears and some limitations. It can't happen. It needs to be progressive. You need to have a direction in your curriculum. It has to be robust. Consideration for females whenever you're designing your curriculum. Things that guys can do, there are things that we cannot do because of height and size. Offer realistic scenarios, meaning maybe next time. This is there are two sides to this I'm seeing with realistic scenarios, because again, they can't go from 0 to 100, but they're asking for a realistic scenario, and the realistic scenario is on 100. So again, I think this is another topic. Effective techniques, and then gender balance. It should be gender. For the female instructors, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say these. Also 4 areas: promotion, students to peers, the program and community. Okay, so for the promotion, invite them to teach. This is what we talked about before. Invite them to teach. If you guys are all doing your fun bayanihan and we're not a part of it, guess what? Do you think I'm gonna feel good about it that I'm not invited? Or you're only inviting me to participate, but you guys are the one teaching, while the instructors that are female are on the side saying hi to
Maestro Chad.
That's not fun. We also want to be in the part of the fun.
No,
and
agreed.
Them in events. I've been invited before to do a seminar, and they did not mention my name that I'm going to have an event. So obviously, I will only end up having 4 students in there, right? Feature them in interviews like what Dean Franco is doing now, podcasts and videos like what Kali Doug Marsh is doing as well. And also Marshall Media is doing that as well. Also, People Talking Cali as well on YouTube. Highlight achievements, include in instructors listings. I know PTTA is doing that as well. And I know there are many others. I'm just saying some examples. Recognize strategy in teaching, fighting skills, and other strengths. So recognize us for what we do best.
Sure. Okay.
For the program, please train female instructors. Please create leaders instead of just making them students forever. Have equal expectations. Don't make it too easy for us either. It needs to be correct. Like our training needs to be right. Fair treatment, meaning if we do deserve to be promoted, please promote us. Students or peers. For the students or peers in the community, what you can do is commit resources to support. Allot money so that you can attend their events and have them have paid events. We always do free events, guys. Why? Why do I need to do free events all the time? And then at the same time, why are you asking me if I'm teaching children? That's like the worst thing. Like every time I go, oh, do you teach children? Because my child who's 10 years old or 5 needs to have discipline, and you'll be perfect for that. Come on, dude. No. I also have something to offer on a tactical level. Okay, I do some stuff too. Anyway,
Well,
Clark.
you don't want to babysit?
Also, attend the events or classes. Don't say, sister, you're great or you're a badass, because that's old. Next, provide assurance and encouragement. Like what Dean Franco is doing right now. He tells me that we were going to do this together. That's assuring that I'm not by myself and he will support me. Model
Sure.
respect towards instructors. If you're laughing at other instructors on what their skills are, guess what your students are gonna do? They're gonna laugh at other instructors too and start.
I know. Oh my God, you just hit on something. So they're gonna model your behavior. So they think that, oh, well, this is what we do. Our instructor does it. To me,
Yeah.
that is terrible. That is just so terrible. I'm glad you brought that up, man. That's just like, there's people like, that, yeah, maybe I'm not crazy about their stuff or them as a person, but I'm not gonna go blabbing it off to my students. I mean, that's
Yeah,
bad. That's
it's really a lot of modeling, a lot of modeling. Even if they're adults, modeling is still important. And then
bad.
serve as witness to achievements and contributions of female peers. If somebody has done something and you enjoyed, even if you did not enjoy the whole thing, but there's one good thing that you noticed, highlight that so that next time that even that female instructor or any instructor would repeat that, because they see feedback. Feedback is very important.
Yeah.
We as instructors, we also need it. You guys, students, come on now. You're being selfish. You're the only one who also always need feedback. So we're observing you, right? But you don't look at us and treat us like people. It's like our instructors need to be this perfect person while you guys can go ahead and mess up. That's not fair. You have to understand we're people too. We have needs too. And we also need to grow, because this is still not a very old art. We're still learning and making this into something structured, right? And lastly, for the community, have a support group, recognize contributions, show acceptance, and practice a class culture.
Nice. Wow.
So
Fantastic.
that's on page 9, and I can share it.
Yeah. I mean, I think people would enjoy seeing that. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. But this is, obviously we went way over, but this has been just phenomenal. Fair to say, I definitely want to have you back on. For a couple reasons. One, when this takes off the exchange, just to get some feedback from you, how it's going and all that. And please, and I sincerely mean this, don't hesitate to message me like what I could do as far as promotion and all that on the exchange, what have you. I mean, I would, again, my offer's there. I'd be more and more than happy to do it. I really, so I definitely will do everything to promote it, encourage it, and, everything. And I definitely want to get you back on for the women's self-defense. You and a couple of, matter of fact, one of them was Trisha Dong. She was on here. Yeah, I want to get her on here too. I figured get you, her, and somebody else, and we can just kind of brainstorm, getting input from you guys. I think that'd be a really neat show. And all that. But yeah, so. But I want to thank you so much for coming on doing this. This has been absolutely wonderful. Again, folks, if I didn't get to your question, I apologize. Please, I already asked Tuhon Arlene. She said she'd be more than happy to answer them if you submit them to her via messenger. Again, it was time, and all that. So I apologize. But yeah, again, any closing thoughts before I'm on the? So I'm going to be on the pedestal Saturday, huh?
Yeah, so excited for that. So for just letting everyone know that the FMA Exchange page has been done this afternoon, and it's at Support FMA Exchange. It's on Facebook. I might
I'm
do
writing that down now. I'm sorry. So
at Support FMA Exchange.
Support. Okay.
Only because FMA Exchange was taken, so I just needed that. I can't do Filipino Martial Arts Exchange because S and X did not go well. So I said, okay, no, that's not what it's gonna be.
Oh, okay.
If I spell it all out, it doesn't have a good meaning. But so Support FMA Exchange.
Okay.
And that's where the males can go. You don't need to be a member. You just need to follow it, because I know some of you are interested in supporting this. So I decided to just create the page for you. And you will see Diana's, how do you say, session there. I'll put it on the live feed.
Okay.
Some people can also go to Zoom and register if you have the link. But if you don't worry. I'll just broadcast it over there so you don't have to be looking around for the links.
And that's one question I was going to ask you. I mean, I was going to ask it Saturday, but I guess or whatever. But for those so after my session, like if somebody wanted to see it, is it accessible to other people, or does that work?
It will be accessible for the members of the HSS, because some of them are in Europe and the other parts of the world, and they're not awake during that time. So I keep it up and with the questions as well, so they can hear what other people have to say about it. And then, yeah, that's it. I'm not sure if I'm going to put it away or not, but I think as long as it's exclusive, it will be fine.
Yeah, definitely.
If you have any concerns about it, though, let me know, because I can remove it if there's a concern.
Yeah, definitely. You can kind of create a library, so to speak, I guess, and all that. But again, I thank you so much for coming on. This has been, absolutely a delight. And but you'll be back. So I'm gonna hold you to.
Oh yes, we're connected now, so that's good. And I like the Connecticut like what.
Connecticut.
It was quite funny, but
you wouldn't want to live here, though. Taxi. Yeah, they're driving everybody out.
I just want to thank you, Rudine. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. Also to Tuhon Jack, who put my name out there, and also has encouraged me to be out there and say my thoughts. So I thank you for that. There are people who are not within my circle who are very, very supportive. So now they have been my extended friends and family. Also to Brian for the blade. A lot of the people who logged in tonight, thank you so much for your time. We did go over, but I'm still glad that some people are still saying hi over here.
Yeah, no, it's been it's a very supportive group, which is nice. I really want, when the females come on, I push it. You know what I mean? Because I want you guys being supported. So but yeah. Absolutely, it's my pleasure. I thank you for coming on, and all this, but absolutely, obviously we're gonna be in touch. So it's not like
yes,
we're not gonna be talking.
I'll read all of the messages later.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will read everything one by one, and hihimayin ko yan lahat. Makita ko ang mga message.
Oh, that's why I gotta ask you. What is the greeting? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly for Saturday.
I will record my voice later so you can slow down. It's Hagulong Sang Sundang. It's Ilong.
Perfect. Because I'll screw that up. I'm telling you.
Yes, and I was saying, you know what? We didn't realize that you can say HSS or you can say Swift of the Blade, because that's the translation.
Swift.
And we already have a logo now, a cool logo, and Karen actually did that. Karen Sindari was the one who created the drawing, and then Magdalena Flores and Jack Bradbury was the one who came up with the name. They were brainstorming, and then we got some moderators. We got Luella, who's in Australia, who's doing the sticks, the design. She's burning the sticks, and I put her on the list for you to interview too. We got Maria also. She's doing Sinawali with the drums. We got some artists in there. People who are doing FMA jewelry, Arlene, Santiago. There's so many people. And also, of course, Jenna, who's doing Cali and tea sessions. She's doing a lot of work with her community. Also a good resource to talk to. Now, so I'll send you all again.
Yeah, please. And Luella's on here now. Consider it done. If you guys want to come on the show, consider it done.
Yeah, we also have Nelita V. I know somebody mentioned Nelita, and we got her in thanks to Royce Ramos.
Okay. Yeah, everyone's
guy.
Watching. If they want to come on, consider the invite already done. Alvin. Yeah, Alvin, I need to. Yeah, right. I should be able to speak it by now. Um, that's true. um, but all right. Well, this has been great, and looks like I'll be seeing you Saturday shortly thereafter.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank
No,
you,
thank you. And I'm gonna
everyone.
folks that are watching, I'm gonna post a book one more time and let you know who is coming tomorrow night. This is a three-peat this week. So, but all right, Juan. Thank you again. Take care.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. All right, folks. Tomorrow night, I was supposed to interview the Abenir group, Manila, my maestro bong, my teacher and assistant I'm a part of. However, my internet connection to Florida was just so terrible. So I'm going to do that tomorrow night. Matter of fact, it'll be there Saturday morning over there. So 7 o'clock tomorrow night. I'm going to be making up a flyer tonight and all that, and 8 o'clock for them tomorrow morning in the Manila area. So, but yeah, by all means, hopefully check it out. It's not going to be just Bong Avenir. It's going to be the whole 4 or 5 of the Manila group doing demos. I think some sparring. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. So that again, I'm going to generate the flyer as soon as I can tonight, and yeah, and you guys can check that out. And I'll be again tomorrow night. For those who commented, watched, and submitted questions, I thank you. If I didn't get your question, again, I apologize. By all means, please submit them to be a messenger to Tuhon Arlene. She said she would definitely be watching them, be more than happy to do so. Answer them, sorry, and all that. And I'm trying to think. And then the following week, we got Julius is coming on, and on his birthday. So that should be exciting, and all that. Yeah, Cavan Batista tomorrow night, brother. Bong Avenir and the crew. Norman and Richard, Mike, a whole bunch and all that. So again, if you haven't already, hit like and subscribe to FMA Discussion on YouTube, where you can see this interview and other great ones. All right, all. Take care. Good night.